Now, we are in Topic 1, Cell, Structure, Function, and Organization.
现在我们在第一个主题，细胞结构、功能和组织。
Cell is the basic unit that makes up all living things, like animal and plant.
细胞是构成动物和植物等所有生物的基本单位。
The role of cells in living things is to carry out life processes, like respiration, growth, reproduction, and excretion.
细胞在生物体中的作用是进行呼吸、生长、繁殖和排泄等生命过程。
Through the process called cell division, a single cell divides into 2 or more cells.
通过称为细胞分裂的过程，单个细胞分裂成为2个或更多个细胞。
Cell division is an essential process in cell cycle for living things to grow and reproduce new cells to replace damaged or dead cells.
细胞分裂是细胞周期中必不可少的过程，这让生物的生长和繁殖新细胞以替代受损或死亡的细胞。
Cancer cells can be formed in living things when a cell divides rapidly without control.
当细胞快速分裂而不受控制时，癌细胞可在生物体内形成。
If not be destroyed, cancer cells will divide uncontrollably to form an abnormal lump. It is called a tumor.
如果不被消灭，癌细胞将不受控制地分裂，并形成异常肿块，它被称为肿瘤。
Tumors can destroy and invade surrounding cells, and spread from one part to another inside the body, which then leads to the malfunctions of the body parts. This is the formation of cancer.
肿瘤可以破坏和侵入周围的细胞，并从体内的一部分扩散到另一部分，然后导致身体部位的故障。这是癌症的形成。
Now, let's discuss the structures and function of structures in animal cell and plant cell.
现在，让我们讨论动物细胞和植物细胞的结构与结构功能。
Cells are too tiny, and can be clearly seen under a microscope.
细胞太小，它可以在显微镜下清晰地被看到。
The cells in animal and plant are found to have some similarities and differences in its structures and shape.
在动物和植物中寻获的细胞，在结构和形状上有相似与不同之处。
For the similarities in structures, both kinds of cells are found to have the following similarities.
对于结构的相似性，2种细胞被察觉都具有。
The first similarity in structures is cell membrane. The cell membrane is a thin layer, which forms the external boundary of the cell. The function of the cell membrane is to control the movement of materials into and out from the cell.
在结构中的第一个相似的部分是细胞膜。Cell membrane 细胞膜是一个薄层，形成细胞的外部边界。它控制进出细胞物质的运动。
The second similarity is mitochondria. Mitochondria is cylindrical shaped. It is the site of cellular respiration to generate energy.
第二个相似之处是 mitochondria 线粒体。线粒体是圆柱形的，它是细胞呼吸发生和产生能量的地方。
The third similarity is nucleus. The nucleus is oval, or spherical shaped. It controls all the activities of the cell. The nucleus contains chromosomes that are made up of deoxyribonucleic acid. This is the so-called DNA, which carries genetic information that determines the characteristics of the organism.
第三个相同之处是细胞核。细胞核呈椭圆或球状，它控制细胞的所有活动。细胞核包含由脱氧核糖核酸 DNA 组成的染色体 DNA 脱氧核糖核酸携带着决定生物特征的遗传信息。
The fourth similarity is cytoplasm. It is a jelly-like substance. It is the medium where chemical processes occur.
第四个相似的部分是 cytoplasm 细胞质，它是一种胶状物质。它是让化学过程发生的介质。
For the differences in structures, only plant cells have the following structures.
对于结构上的差异，仅植物细胞具有以下结构。
The first difference is chloroplast. Chloroplast contains a green pigment, it is the chlorophyll. The chlorophyll absorbs sunlight, for the process of photosynthesis. Not all the plant cells contain chloroplasts, example, epidermal cells of the onion bulb.
第一个结构上的区别的部分是 chloroplast 叶绿体。叶绿体含绿色素，绿色素是吸收阳光以进行光合作用的叶绿素。但并非所有的植物细胞都含有叶绿体，例如洋葱鳞茎的表皮细胞。
The second difference in the structure is cell wall. The cell wall is the outer layer of a plant cell. It supports and protects the cell, and gives a fixed shape to the cell.
结构上的第二个区别是细胞壁 cell wall。细胞壁是植物细胞的外层，它支撑并保护细胞，并赋予细胞固定的形状。
The third difference is the vacuole. The vacuole is a fluid-filled sac that contains cell sap. It absorbs water, and keeps the cell turgid, which provides support to the cells.
第三个结构上的差异是 vacuole 叶包，又称叶泡。叶包是一个充满液体并含有细胞液的囊，它吸收水分，保持细胞膨胀，这为细胞提供支撑。
Both kinds of cells are found to have a difference in the shape. At which, plant cells have a fixed shape, whereas, animal cells do not have. This is all the contents of structures of the animal cell, and plant cell.
这两种细胞在形状上具有差异，植物细胞有固定的形状，而动物细胞则没有。这是动物细胞和植物细胞结构的所有内容。
This is another topic, unicellular and multicellular organisms.
这是另一个主题，单细胞和多细胞生物。
The living things on the Earth can be categorized into two categories. They are unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Both of these two categories will be detailed in the following part.
地球上的生物可以分为两类，它们是单细胞生物以及多细胞生物。
We first discuss the unicellular organisms.
我们首先讨论单细胞生物。
Unicellular organisms are organisms that consist of only one cell.
单细胞生物是仅由一个细胞组成的生物。
All unicellular organisms are microorganisms. Because of their tiny size, they can only be seen under a microscope.
所有单细胞生物都是微生物，因为它们的体积很小，只能在显微镜下观察到。
Same as the cells in multicellular organisms, unicellular organisms as a single cell also perform the living processes like moving, feeding, reproducing, growing, responding to stimulation, excreting and respiring.
与多细胞生物体中的细胞一样，作为单细胞的单细胞生物，它们也执行生命过程，如移动、摄食、繁殖、生长、响应刺激、排泄和呼吸。
Amoeba and paramecium are the example of unicellular animals.
变形虫和草履虫是单细胞动物的实例。
Yeast and chlamydomonas are the example of unicellular plants.
酵母和衣藻是单细胞植物的实例。
In the world of unicellular organisms, Euglena can be classified as both the animal and plant. Because it has both the animal and plant properties.
在单一细胞生物的世界里，眼虫可以同时被归类为动物和植物，因为它具有动物和植物的特性。
The following are the explanations for multicellular organisms.
以下是对于多细胞生物的解释。
Multicellular organisms are organisms that consist of more than one cell.
多细胞生物是由多于一个细胞组成的生物。
Multicellular organisms are made up of many types of cells, which differ in structure and function.
多细胞生物由许多类型的细胞组成，这些细胞不同于它们的结构与功能。
Most multicellular organisms are bigger in size, and complex compared to the unicellular organism, and some are microorganisms, because too tiny to be seen.
与单细胞生物体相比，大多数多细胞生物的尺寸和复杂程度更大，并且一些是微生物，因为它们太小而无法被看到。
The follows are the example of the multicellular organisms. Microorganisms. Hydra, it is an animal. Spirogyra, it is a plant. Mucor, it is neither plant, nor animal but fungi.
以下是多细胞生物微生物的实例。水螅，它是一种动物。水绵，它是一种植物。毛霉，它既不是植物，也不是动物，而是真菌。
Multicellular animal can be categorized into mammals, reptiles, amphibians, birds and fish.
多细胞动物可分为哺乳类、爬行类、两栖类、鸟类和鱼类。
Algae, ferns, and flowering plant are the examples of the multicellular plant.
藻类、蕨类植物和开花植物是多细胞植物的实例。
The explanation of the topic, unicellular and multicellular organisms, end here.
关于单细胞和多细胞生物这一主题的解释就在这里结束。
Now, we get into the new topic, the types and functions of animal cells and plant cells.
现在我们进入新主题，动物细胞和植物细胞的类型和功能。
Multicellular organisms like human, animals, and plant are large in size. And they are made up of different types of cells for various life processes.
多细胞生物如人、动物和植物的体积庞大，它们由不同类型的细胞组成，用于各种生命过程。
Each type of cells in the multicellular organisms have different shapes and structures. In order to carry out a special function, they are called specialized cells.
多细胞生物中每种类型的细胞具有不同的形状和结构以实现特殊功能。它们被称为特化细胞。
Specialized cells are the cells that have become differentiated to carry out a particular function inside the body of multicellular organisms.
特化细胞被分化，以便在多细胞生物体内发挥特定功能。
The follows are the specialized cells in humans with their special features and function.
以下是在人类的特化细胞及其特征与特殊功能。
About nerve cells, it is also known as neuron. It has long and thin fibers. It carries information in the form of the nerve impulse to every part of the body.
神经细胞，它又被称为神经元，它有细长的纤维，它以神经脉冲的形式把信息传递到身体的各个部位。
About the red blood cells. Red blood cells are in biconcave disc shaped to have a large surface area. Red blood cells don't have a nucleus in the mature stage. It contains hemoglobins, a red color protein which combines with the oxygen in the lung. It transports O2 from the lung to the whole body cells, and transports CO2 from body cells back to the lungs which are then expelled during exhalation.
红血细胞，红血细胞处于双凹盘状，具有大的表面。红血细胞在成熟阶段没有细胞核，它含有血红蛋白，也就是红色蛋白质，这让它在肺部与氧气结合。它将氧从肺部运输到全身细胞，并将体内细胞中的二氧化碳运回肺部，然后在呼气时排出体外。
About the white blood cells. White blood cells don't have a fixed shape. They will destroy bacteria that enter the body and help the body to against diseases.
白血细胞，白血细胞没有固定的形状。白血细胞摧毁进入人体的细菌，帮助身体抵抗疾病。
About the muscle cells. Muscle cells responsible to contract and relax to produce movement of various body parts, as well as the movement of internal organs, such as the contraction of the heart, and the movement of food through the digestive system. Muscle cells have various shape in the different part. For example, muscle cells in the wall of the intestine are elongated. Muscle cells in the heart are in branched shape.
肌肉细胞，肌肉细胞负责收缩和放松，以产生各种身体部位的运动，以及内脏的运动，例如心脏的收缩和食物通过消化系统的运动。肌肉细胞在不同部位有不同的形状，例如肌肉细胞在肠壁是细长的，在心脏是支化状的。
About the epithelial cells. Epithelial cells have a thin layer of tiny moving hairs called cilia. It covers the outer surface of the body and line on the surface of organs in a body.
上皮细胞。上皮细胞有一层薄薄移动的毛发，叫做 cilia 纤毛。上皮细胞覆盖身体的最外表面，排列于身体器官的表面。
About the reproductive cells. The organism's reproductive cells function to reproduce their offspring. The sperm cell is the male reproductive cell that has a long tail, which allows it to swim toward the ovum cell, the female reproductive cell. Sperm cell contains the genetic information of father, whereas, ovum cell contains the genetic information of mother.
生殖细胞。有机体生殖细胞的功能是繁殖它们的后代。精子细胞是雄性生殖细胞，它具有长尾巴，使它能够像雌性生殖细胞的卵子细胞游动。精子细胞含有父亲的遗传信息，而卵子细胞含有母亲的遗传信息。
The above mentioned are the specialized cells of the human body.
以上陈述是人体的特化细胞。
Next, we discuss the specialized cells in plants, with their special features and function.
接下来我们讨论在植物里的特化细胞及其特征与特殊功能。
There are three kinds of plant cells that can be found in a plant's leaf. They are epidermal cells, palisade cells, guard cells.
在植物的叶子中可以找到3种植物细胞，它们是上皮细胞、栅栏细胞、保卫细胞。
About the epidermal cells are flat and have a large vacuole. It is covered by waxy cuticle layer on top to reduce water loss. It is transparent to allow light to penetrate the cell for photosynthesis.
关于上皮细胞，上皮细胞是扁平的，并且具有大的叶泡。它的顶部被蜡质角质层覆盖，以减少水分流失。它是透明的，以让光线穿透细胞来进行光合作用。
About the palisade cells. Palisade cells contain lots of chloroplasts which contain chlorophyll, which make leaf apparent as green color. Palisade cells absorb sunlight to carry out photosynthesis.
关于栅栏细胞 palisade cells， 栅栏细胞含有大量的叶绿体，而叶绿体含有叶绿素。栅栏细胞主要功能是吸收阳光以进行光合作用。
About the guard cells. Guard cells located at the bottom side of the leaf. It is a two-kidney-shaped cells surround a stoma. It helps to regulate gas exchange by opening and closing the stoma.
关于保卫细胞 the guard cells， 保卫细胞位于叶子的底部，它是一个二肾形并围绕着气孔的细胞。保卫细胞通过打开和关闭气孔来帮助调节气体交换。
About the root hair cells. Root hair cells have a long extension part as root hair, which has a large surface area to absorb water and nutrients from the soil.
关于根毛细胞，根毛细胞有一个很长的延伸部分根毛，并具有很大的表面以吸收土壤中的水分和养分。
The above mentioned are the specialized cells of plants.
以上陈述的是植物的特化细胞。
We have just done the study for the topic, the types and functions of animal cells and plant cells.
我们刚完成了主题动物细胞和植物细胞的类型和功能的学习。